So, you know, that's what one of the main reasons I record the police and the government in the first place is that a lot of these people will say, "What's wrong with you, Andre? Do you have a problem with law enforcement?" Okay, let's break down those words. You know, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, whoever just said that. When you say, "Do I have a problem with law enforcement?" I have a problem with some of the people in law enforcement who call themselves law enforcement, who should not be called law enforcement, who should not be wearing these uniforms and badges and guns, because they are not what I consider professional law enforcement. You know, they are doing sometimes crimes themselves, or they are not following their own policies. So this automatic assumption that a lot of these people who are wearing these badges and guns and all this and have all this power, that they're the moral authority, that, you know, they're law enforcement. Stop attacking law enforcement. That's why I started my YouTube channel. That's why I filmed them, because a lot of them should not be called law enforcement. They are not. And I don't even think I have the character or the physical aptitude or the mental aptitude to be law enforcement. I don't think I should be a police officer. I don't think I should be a doctor. I don't think I should be a lot of things. But I also think that a lot of the people that are wearing those uniforms today, that they also shouldn't be wearing them. So I just think a lot of changes need to be made. I mean, I could go on and on, but.
No, I agree. I think a lot of things need to be changed. I think a lot of things need to be heard. One of the things is the thing about Texas though is, dude, is they're not gonna do that in Texas. Maybe if we were like up in Washington or New York or some shit like that, but here in Texas, dude, they're not gonna fucking take any of those powers away from Texas. They're just not gonna do that. Texas is so far behind on the curve when it comes to fucking laws, man, or federal stuff, dude. It's ridiculous. They're still stuck in the old ways.
Here's the problem with El Paso and Texas in general. You're right. They're stuck in the old ways. First of all, that's one of the things that I secretly love about Texas and that I secretly love about the South in general, is that I do personally like a lot of the old ways, you know, Southern hospitality, politeness, you know, all of that, both in the South and the West in general.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, there's that, a lot of that, you know, sticking with the old ways cannot always be a good thing. Now, when it comes to law enforcement, that's where it's a bad thing, as we've been discussing. And,
right.
You know, El Paso is really bad with that, because we have not only American old school culture here, which is a mixture of Southern and Western culture, but we also have the Mexican side of things. And Mexicans, especially the ones here on the border, they're just, everything is very traditional, very Catholic. And not only that, this is a military town. That's a huge part of it too. I mean, we literally have city council meetings and county commissioner meetings with actual active duty military, like, on the meetings. That changes everything. Like, there is no, that's why I'm literally the only cop watcher in this county who regularly films the police. What I do, there's nobody else who rocks the boat like I do. And I'm not trying to put a crown on my head. I'm just trying to give you a picture of the overall culture and atmosphere here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, even right now, there's a lot of stuff, even, I think, honestly, in the past 4 or 5 years, man, they've been trying to militarize these police officers, man. And that's why they've been hiring so many veterans and stuff, that especially from the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, dude, they want those guys. Why? Because a lot of those guys are hard hitters, man. And they want those kind of people, because those are the kind of people that aren't going to take no shit from anybody. And it's a way to militarize. It's a way to militarize the mindset of a law enforcement agency, because you can't just take any Joe Smo, 19 years old, and train him to be that way. But if he's been over there and has done some shit, and then he comes back, he's already got this kind of attitude or this sense of type A personality that's just not going to take some shit from any Joe Smo. So you can't teach that. You know what I mean? And that's what that's a way to militarize the mindset of the law enforcement, and then they can share that amongst each other. I mean, we're talking about tactics and everything, man.
Oh yeah, and then the problem is that everything you said is 100% true. But I'm telling you, here in El Paso, I don't know if you've ever been here before, but El Paso, everything that you said is 100% true gets magnified under a microscope by 1,000 times. Reason being is because every inch of El Paso and El Paso County is in what's called the Special Border Zone. within 100 miles of the border, you lose a lot of your rights, including the Fourth Amendment. Technically, Border Patrol could come up to any shopping mall or any restaurant and march in and just start demanding IDs and citizenship, questions. Now, they don't do that, but they could if they wanted to, because the Supreme Court said it's allowed within 100 miles. So basically, we have Fort Bliss, which is packed with huge amounts of Army, including divisions of, tank people and infantry and all that, huge military base. Then you've got Customs and Border Patrol. They have a huge operation here. You always see their helicopters, ATVs, all their equipment. They're all over the place. Now, they're separate than Border Patrol, so Border Patrol also has their own stuff going on. Then you've got an FBI headquarters here. You've got, the local police here, which is El Paso Police, Sheriff's Office, and then all the little towns have their own police. So basically, El Paso, not only is it very law enforcement friendly, but it has a shitload of law enforcement, period. Because everywhere you turn, we have so much law enforcement, we even have these school law enforcement, because we have all these school districts here. And now when school shuts down, if it's nighttime or if it's summertime even, school's not even in session, these cops that are assigned to these school districts, they don't stop getting paid. They don't stop being cops. So what do? They start driving around the city. They start driving around the county, and there's nothing stopping them. They might have a sticker on the side of their car that says Socorro Independent School District, and you might be 20 miles away from Socorro and getting pulled over or arrested for one reason or another by this cop, and you're like, what the hell is going on here? This is a school police officer? It's like, that's not how it works. It's first and foremost, that protects his peace officer. And so we just have a lot of cops here. And it's just, it's hard for me to describe. Like, the videos that I make don't do it justice. You'd have to be here to see what I'm talking about. But it's just a very big military law enforcement town. It'll never change in that respect. And it's the same way over here, man. Yeah, it's the same way over here. They got DPS station over here. They got Fort Hood. They got fucking school cops everywhere, and they even got marshals over here. Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of my neighbors in my neighborhood is a marshal. Now, what exactly does the marshal? The marshal works for the judge, or what? I'm not sure what he does, man. As far as I'm tracking, the Texas marshals can literally the Texas marshals in Texas they can do whatever the fuck they want. I mean, they're pretty much like the sheriffs, man, the law of the land. I mean, the Texas marshals and the sheriffs are recognized by the Texas Constitution and the United States Constitution. Right. Like, seriously. Yeah. Oh, no, and I've heard about that. That vaguely sounds familiar to me, and that's one of the reasons I got so pissed off at my sheriff, is because he completely left me hanging out to dry when I tried to, tell him about my problem with Texas Penal Code 3802. I told him in 2019, I'm like, hey, your deputies are threatening to arrest me, because back in 2019, it happened to me. They tried to arrest me for failure ID. They forced me to give the ID. The next year, I refused to give it because I was tired of dealing with their stuff. So they still gave me a citation, even though the sheriff promised me on video. He says, oh, no. Hello? Hey, we got cut off? I don't know what happened, man. I don't either. You were saying about the Texas Marshals. No, I was saying that I know that they have special powers for sheriffs and I guess marshals as well, like you're talking about. And that's one of the reasons I got so frustrated and pissed off about my sheriff, and I want the sheriff where I live to be replaced, because the sheriff where I live, as far as I'm concerned, he's just a pretty boy politician. He's like a con artist. He'll tell you whatever you want to hear, and then when it comes down to the chips are down and the reality is happening, where his deputies are giving me a citation, a bogus citation for failure ID, it's like, well, that's bullshit. Exactly. And just a year or two ago, he told me to my face, he said, no, all my deputies are trained in Texas Penal Code 3802. We're very familiar with that law. He told me that to my face. I have it on video. And none of that was true. None of his people knew what was going on. Even one of his lieutenants, a commander of one of his substations, had no fucking idea what Texas Penal Code 3802 was at all. Completely clueless. So, I mean, the sheriff, when I met him, he seems like, human to human, man to man, he seems like a nice guy and everything. But as far as I was concerned, he is not doing what a sheriff should, because it's like everything I would tell him, he'd be like, oh, well, I don't know what I can believe. You got to go to internal affairs. His internal affairs is so fucking crooked and sweeps everything under the rug. It shouldn't even be called internal affairs. I can go on and on, but that's how it is here. We just got a lot of.
See, the thing is we got to keep fighting back, man. We got to keep fighting back because, I mean, there's what the problem is. The thing is we have a voice, and they're trying to silence that voice, man. Everybody's trying to be in silence right now, dude. They're arresting every auditor. Go online, dude. Freaking media got arrested. They tried to fucking press authority check like really bad the other day. I watched on his live feed. Like, they're really reaching. And who's to say that they can't just make these pocket warrants and arrest all these auditors here in Texas or anywhere?
That's what I'm saying. That's the danger of these pocket warrants, is that while you're on the phone with someone, like me and you are talking right now, neither me or you truly 100% know if there's another pocket warrant that's out there. How are we to truly know? Because they can always write them and not tell us. So
yeah, exactly.
So there's no, and they only act on it when they want to. So there's no way. Yeah.
Well, the way you were, okay, so you just said earlier that you stood right next to that lady, right, the other officer.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that, man, because the day before, so the 8th, not the 9th, because the 9th I got arrested, remember? The day before I got arrested, I had a Belton PD officer literally ride my ass the whole time until I got to a gas station and pulled into the gas station. Then they literally went across to the other gas station across the street and turned around and then took off. Now, if I had a warrant out for my arrest on the 7th, like the thing said, why didn't they pull me over and arrest me? It makes me think that they wanted me and Bully to be together when they made that arrest.
Exactly, and that's completely, here's the fucked up part about it. That is 110% legal. They are literally legally allowed to arrest criminals when they decide it's the right time. And they call that investigative tactics, law enforcement tactics. Now, we know that that's abusing their authority, because what they're doing is they're trying to choose the arrest location and time to be most damaging to someone's life, someone's family, someone's job. They want to arrest them at work. They want to arrest them right after they just bought their groceries. They want to arrest them just before they're putting their kids in bed. They want to use that arrest as a weapon.
Yeah, because they're trying to defame. They're either trying to defame you, or like you said, they're trying to set up an environment to make it look in their best interest. Whenever they arrested me and fucking Bully, man, like, I already knew that they did that for a reason. The way that they did it, dude. Dude, they swarmed us like we were fucking murderers, man.
Exactly. And when I got put in handcuffs last night, I don't think it was necessary. The Fourth Amendment, I'm not trying to get too technical here. I'm not a lawyer, but the Fourth Amendment says that all seizures should be reasonable. Now,
right.
It doesn't say that seizures are illegal. I understand I'm arrested, but if they put me in that little cage, why do I have to be in handcuffs if I'm not a violent criminal? Nobody wants to answer that question. They say, "Oh, well, you're under arrest. You have to be in handcuffs." And I'm thinking, that doesn't make sense, because I'm already in the cage. It's not like I'm going to be able to get out of this cage. It's made out of iron. It's made out of steel. And I'm not a proven, violent person. I'm not a flight risk. It's not even that type of crime,
Right.
But instead, you tell me, oh, well, no, you have to be handcuffed behind your back. And if you want water, you have to come up to the cage. This is no joke. He told me if I wanted water, I had to come to the cage, and he would put the water bottle spout through one of the holes, and then I could try to get whatever water came out, and I would have to drink it through one of the holes in the cage.
What the fuck, man? Like we're fucking animals or shit.
I mean, I can understand if I had done a serious crime, if it was a felony and someone had been hurt, if someone had been, if it was an armed robbery or rape, I mean, something serious, But no, I get arrested for disorderly conduct and interfering with public duties, and I'm treated, I guess I could have been treated a lot worse, but I feel like the treatment I did get in some aspects was just still too overboard for what it was,
The thing is how did they get you on interference with public duties, dude, if it was arrested on a warrant?
there's, again, you know what? That's why
You see what I'm saying?
That's what drives me to drinking all the time. And that's what I keep reminding myself, and I'll remind you and all my other activist friends. You can't make sense of nonsense. I've been charged. This is not the first time I've been charged with something that makes absolutely no sense. And see, what happens is a lot of times they even know it makes no sense. But if it even makes 10% sense, they'll still charge you with it just to keep you hemmed up, just to make you fight it off, because that weakens you. That makes you, now you're treading more water. Now you're wasting more money. Now you're spending more time fighting a charge, which both you and them know is ridiculous, but still you're fighting it. So now that's a weapon. That's why they did it.
What's this? Yeah, that's shit's out. It's getting out of control, dude. How do we fucking fight against some shit?
It's called
malicious. How do we fight against that?
Well, you can't, because it's a malicious prosecution, but prosecutors literally, like, here's how bad it is. The cops have qualified immunity. Guess what prosecutors have? They literally have it word for word. It's called absolute immunity.
Yeah, I heard about that. I did some research on that.
They can literally charge you with anything that they know is malicious and just be like, oh, well, I have absolute immunity. Not even just qualified immunity. Qualified immunity means at least you have to, like, you know, go in front of the judge and say, okay, judge, I have qualified immunity. The judge says, okay, I agree. Absolute immunity is even worse. Absolute immunity is like, well, we don't even have to take it before the judge. There's not even a question here.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what that person did.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolute immunity. So it's just
it's fucked up system, dude.
Yeah, and all I can do is just drink and laugh, man. That's all I can do.
Well, don't fucking drink too much, dude. Seriously, don't drink too much, man.
Oh no, I know what you mean. Trust me, I'm watching myself. Don't worry, and that's why I like getting on the phone with guys like you, and you're keeping my head straight. Is because don't worry, I'm not in that low place. I'm not in that low place. I'm glad to be out of jail. And yes, I did buy a 6-pack. I'm not gonna lie. But,
well, a 6-pack's different, but don't start hitting the hard shit, man, and don't be driving if you're drinking or anything, dude.
Blanca Bronson.
Excuse me, officer. Officer?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it possible you not call my name while I'm recording?
Is it
possible you not call my name when he's recording? I mean,
Hey,
stop
you don't have to
recording me,
record
please.
us, dude.
Start recording me.
Babe,
Okay, sir, what you're doing now?
This is ridiculous, homeboy.
What
If
you
you
do-
got something to do, then you tell them. But you get your ass out of here, homeboy.
What you're doing now, you're inciting a breach of the peace, and that is called disorderly conduct. So if you know your laws, then you know, right?
I absolutely do.
So now you're inciting a breach of the peace. You're upsetting the people.
no, please, babe.
Okay? So at this point, go and step outside, sir. Sir? Okay, now you're inciting a breach of the peace.
I've said
You're
nothing. Upsetting me, homeboy. You want some problems?
So go ahead and stop. That's enough.
Sir, I've done nothing.
Okay,
Yes,
you
you
are.
are,
You're
homeboy.
upsetting the people.
I'm standing where I'm legally allowed We to are be. telling you. Sir, to stop you don't have the recording. authority to tell me You anything. are recording stuff
I'm
on
standing
me.
where I'm legally allowed
Are you
to
not
be.
recording that on me?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, then stop.
I have the legal right
I
to.
am legally telling you to stop.
You don't have the authority, sir.
No, I do, sir.
You do not.
Yes, I do.
You
This
do
is a
not.
county facility, and you're disrupting the business inside the county.
Sir, I'm
building.
not saying a word.
You are disrupting. With your camera, you're disrupting it, so please step outside.
I have a First Amendment right to record.
Go and step outside, sir.
I'm standing where I'm legally allowed to be, sir.
Are you going to step outside?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Then move off to the side. Move off to the side by the
I'm
door.
standing
Move!
where you. I'm standing where you told me to be.
On the other side of the table. Okay. Now, if you want to play games, we'll play games.
Sir, I'm not playing games.
Okay, then move.
If I go there, I'm obstructing a passageway.
You're not obstructing the passageway. Anybody that needs to be here is inside the building. Now move, because you're upsetting these people.
Sir, that's not my intention.
Yes, it is. But you're upsetting them.
Sir,
Whether
it's
it's your
not my
intention or not, you are.
It's not my intention.
Okay, so you're causing a breach of the peace, and it's
Sir,
called disorderly conduct.
I have no intention on causing a breach of
But
the
you
peace.
are.
That's
Okay,
not my
you are.
intention.
But
That's
you-
not my
you-
intention, sir.
Whether it's your intention or not, you've already done it.
I apologize if you
So
feel that
don't
way.
apologize. That's not that I feel that way. You're upsetting all these people.
I have nothing wrong. I have no problems with this man.
You're inciting a breach of the peace. He doesn't want you recording him.
Sir, I have a First Amendment right to stay in a public place and
So,
record.
but a breach of the peace is still
Right, homeboy?
breach
Yes,
of the
sir.
peace is still against the law.
Fucking problems more than you, homeboy.
Please stop.
Go and step outside, sir. This
Sir.
is called disorderly conduct.
But I'm not the one being disorderly.
But you are. You're the one causing the breach of the peace.
But what I'm doing is legal.
But you're causing a breach of the peace, and that's not legal.
Yeah, but I can't be responsible for his actions.
Well, for everybody's actions. Everybody's upset.
I-
That's a breach of the peace.
I'm sorry they feel that way, but I have a legal right to stand here.
But not if you're causing a breach of the peace.
That's not my intention. I'm doing what I'm legally
Okay,
allowed
then
to do.
put your camera down, film the floor, film me. Do not film anybody else.
You do not have the authority to tell me that.
If you're causing a breach of the peace, I do.
That's not true, sir.
Yes, it is true.
Sir, you really need to learn
Yes,
the law.
it is true.
You really need to learn the law.
Okay, you're causing a breach of the peace.
That's not how I feel.
Well, I don't care what you feel. That's the law. You should know the law.
And I'm telling you what the law is.
No, well, you're inciting a breach of the peace. That's against the law.
I'm not inciting anything. I
Yes,
haven't
you
said a
are.
word. Video recording cannot be considered inciting.
Really? Show me where it says that.
Well, I don't have the law books with
Any
me.
action that incites a breach of the peace, any action. Okay? So either you move off to the side or I'm going to escort you outside. Okay?
That would be a Fourth Amendment seizure.
No, it's not.
Sir, just proceed with your job.